It wasn't funny enough, or? He's like, I'll go with that. It was cool. It was cool. I do always say this too. I'm glad to have y'all here. We're glad to have y'all here with us and everything on that part. So it's great to be here. Just be respectful of each other. As we ask questions, try not to ask like 3 questions at one time because we try to respect the time. Because I can tell you, when the entertainers and the actors, when they start talking, they will talk maybe a couple of minutes on some of your questions. So if you ask 3 questions, that might turn into a 15, 20-minute session just on that part. And we got other people asking questions. So if you ask one, then I'll come back around to you. You got another one? I'll come back to you for another one with time for it. Just be respectful of each other. See, that's the mom and the teacher right there. Y'all hear what she said? She said, can y'all listen to the question so you don't ask the same question 2 or 3 times? This is my co-host, Tess. Give her a round of applause. Now, I know y'all look at social media, you follow me. Make sure you also follow 8 Love Circus. Make sure y'all follow them.
At 8 Love Circus, we are a celebrity event team. We provide safety, security, medical, and shadow movement of your favorite celebrities. All right, are you ready for this? Because I'm so excited. I was just in the hallway of stars, and we've got some great people out there waiting to come in and talk to you. All right, here we go. The voices of Avatar. Good morning, everyone. Oh my God, I never sounded more like a kindergarten teacher. Good morning, Miss Janet. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Miss Janet.
Hello, my friends.
Zuko here. Good morning. Well, it's Sunday morning. I'm like, what are we doing?
I know, but yeah, do you ever wonder about city areas?
Yes.
It does happen from time to time.
We're in the Tri-City area.
Beautiful, smoky.
Smoky Mountains, which are the Appalachian Mountains themselves. See, I don't know where I am.
How do we say it for Mr. Dante? Appalachian. Very good.
Appalachian. And they are the Smoky Mountains? They're one and the same?
The Smoky Mountains different from the Blue Ridge. The Blue Ridge is the same thing too.
They're both ranges in the Appalachians.
Is it near Bossing Say or outside?
Don't tell her about Sing Say. It's not supposed to rain. There's some rock vendors here, I'll tell you that. All right, so who's got a question? Who's ready to start this
I
off?
got one over here already. She's ready. She picked it up quick.
I was just wondering what your favorite line from Africa was.
It was the style. Actually, my favorite line was from Korra. It's from Legend of Korra. It's my favorite. Everybody has an Iroh line that helps them when they're in a dark place. It's, lifts them up. And this was mine. It was during COVID. There we go. We moved from our house. We lived in LA for 30 years. Moved back to New Mexico where I was born. 2 weeks later, COVID hit. And I remember I was took the walk just to get away from the news, and my inner monologue was, oh my God, I can't in California, I can't in the East Coast, there's no toilet paper, we're all gonna die, this is terrible. And a flock of birds passed over, and I could hear them singing, and I very clearly heard this line from Korra: if you look for the light, you will often find it. If you look for the dark, that is all you will ever see. And to this day, that's the line that always pulls me back in. And what I love about that particular line is, on the one hand, it's just a fancy way of saying try to stay positive, but it also involves an active choice. You have to want to look for the light. You can't say, instead of wallowing in the darkness, once you make the choice to look for the light, we're enveloped by light. It's all around us. But even if there's light when you look up in the sky. So that is my favorite line from the show.
I know.
Lines?
I recorded. It's funny because I think, like, I remember the lines that
help me in the same way that you're talking about, Greg, too. So that line of Ira's is amazing. And then similarly, again, I didn't record it, but like one of my favorite lines from the series I was on is, be the leaf. Because it's a very similar thing. I felt like every day that something goes wrong, or I feel like I have to fix something, or I feel like I'm not doing enough, or I'm not enough, all those feelings. That's such a great reminder. Like, you are not in charge of everything all the time. You don't have to be, and you shouldn't be. And sometimes you need to be part of the environment that you're in and listen and stop and pause, and so that's, it's not what I would word. And then another favorite line of mine, might mean something to you, my friend. My cabbages! Those cabbages look very green and healthy.
So good. Those cabbages. I don't remember all the lines either. I mean, it's a blur to me to a certain degree. It's like you look back and remember, I can't remember recording certain lines. Looking back now, going through the podcast with Janet, bringing the elements and going back and looking through the episodes and kind of reliving these moments, I think it's come back to my mind recently because we just kind of finished book 3 was Firebending Masters, and just seeing the beauty of that. And then when Zuko's like, I understand. I also was like, I do too. So that hit me kind of hard this last time. I was like, I do understand. That's rough, buddy. Also a good one. Very much so. Questions?
Hi, I just wanted to ask what's your favorite character that you work on the show?
What the character?
Like interaction.
Oh, interactions.
I mean, I love Uncle Zuko, obviously. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorite relationships in the show, for sure. Very meaningful, very just deep, and with Gray, also with Mako before, because I know Mako since I was 12, and he's been my uncle and my mom so many times, so that relationship is very special to me, and Gray picking it up is also special. We continue with it. So yeah, I think Uncle Zuko.
Yeah, I'm going to Zuko, I think, but I also really love, I like the relationship, in the one scene, the relationship between Tom and Uncle Ira.
Yeah.
Lovely little scene when they have the tea together.
You guys just did that live.
We did,
San
live,
Diego
San
Comic
Diego,
Con.
it was
Michaela
fun.
and Greg read it together.
It's a short scene, and we do it all the time. One of these days, maybe I'll just commit it to memory instead of always have to look at the script. It's not even, I'm an old man, I don't know if I can remember all those words. That's why I'm a voice actor, I don't have to memorize anything.
Yeah, I love that. And I think the sort of Zuko-Iroh relationship in Korra, Tenzin, and Korra. Also, just because I can't tease that part from it being J.K. freaking Simmons! Like, I can't tease those. That's like, just knowing when I found out that he's gonna be Tenzin, I got so scared. I was like, oh my god, I love him so much. Oh my gosh, what about I want to do a good job and be fun to work with, and hopefully he'll be fun to work with. And he's of course amazing and funny and warm, but also could be that sort of hard exterior that then you're like, anyway, tell me about your daughters. And it's like, oh, okay, you're a teddy bear. I gotcha. Yeah, great question. Okay, now we have one over here in the front.
First, I want to say thank you, because I grew up with both shows, so that's really awesome to see you guys. My question is for Greg. What was it like picking up the role of Iroh after Mako?
It was terrifying. It was really terrifying. Because I knew that not only was I taking over the voice of this iconic character, but the iconic actor that voiced the iconic character. And it amazes me that Mako's been gone since 2006. I know he's looking down at the spirit world going, I can't believe it. I'm more remembered and loved than ever I was. Every year it gets a little bit more. And I never met him. I wish I had. I look forward to meeting him someday, but not too soon.
Not too soon.
We'll not see together. Maybe in 15, 20 years. If it's okay. Yeah, but he was just like, as I say, I realized immediately when I got the part that the people were going to be, they involved in Mako. I knew that was coming. Thank God social media wasn't as toxic back then as it is now, because I probably would run up the street. Somebody else would be out here at this stage right now. But I realized at that point that my best MO was to say, of course I'm not Mako. Mako was nominated for an Academy Award for The Sandpits. He was nominated for a Tony Award for Pacific Overture. He started the first Asian American equity house in the United States. His resume goes back to the 50s. No, I know Mako. I don't aspire to be that. I could never do that. I'm just the guy that's trying to continue the character along. And once I admitted that and people understand how much I respect them, I think everybody was okay with it, because I do not seek to replace Mako. That's why I signed as IRO 2.0. I want people to know that I don't represent myself as the only IRO. I'm merely a continuation of his work. And on a more practical level, I was in Washington with Paul Sun-Hyun Lee, and we were both signing Funko Pops. And we were going, hey man, this is going to get confusing, because nobody's going to know which IRO signed a Funko Pop. So I signed as 2.0, and if you go to Paul's table, he will sign as IRO 3.0. There was
IRO then, isn't it?
and he is the epitome of IRO. He is IRO.
Oh, he's wonderful. Yes.
Got a question over here?
So I know you guys didn't get much to rest on what bending abilities you guys have, but if you could pick any kind of ability, you could pick one.
Fire bending.
Here, Ben, and I can fly.
I think it's cool that you let her finish the question, because sometimes he doesn't even get to that. Like, what kind of benefit?
Fire
Nation.
Fire Nation.
Fire Nation. If I could only be one.
He's an avatar. Don't ask the avatar.
Okay, so Ben.
Don't let her. She has to pitch his avatar. Get out of here.
But you said it could be anything, so we could start like bending time or kissing happy. We're at a Comic-Con. Come on, we can talk about time travel. Reality, bending reality. Yeah, absolutely. Hard drive. All right, we got a question over here.
This is a personal question for you guys. What is your favorite flavor of hot leaf juice? I mean tea.
People want me to say that it's jasmine tea or something exotic, Darjeeling tea, ginseng tea. But now here's the thing, y'all. I was raised in Texas. My parents were both from Texas. My grandparents on both sides were from Texas. What kind of tea do you think I like to drink?
I love black peach iced tea, and I love matcha. And this young man has a matcha company.
Yeah, I have a matcha tea company.
So I shouldn't have to ever pay for matcha again.
No,
I can tell.
You're right. You're right. I love all tea, but matcha tea. I love matcha tea. I love the ceremony of making matcha tea at home. And so I have a tea company called Rufio Matcha. You should check it out. It's a ceremony of bring matcha that me and my wife bring over from Japan. And it's really, really amazing stuff. Rufio Matcha. You can go to rufiomatcha.com. Yeah, I usually bring some technology, but I messed up this one. I brought no matcha. I lost my wallet.
But he has a tracker on his wallet.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is.
It's in Canada.
It's seen on the thing, we think.
Yeah.
It just kept
And
going.
unless someone sold it when they went to Canada,
Yeah.
spending money shopping. I don't know.
Got a question right here, sir.
So,
Hi.
Dante, I know you did the interview with the Africans today for the live action. That really also was really sweet interaction. Love to see that. What did you guys think of the live action adaptation of the show?
I liked it. I had a good time. I watched it. Me and some of the other actors worked at the premiere, and I've been in contact with some of the live cast for a while. With Dallas, we had a great conversation with Zuko on the show. Before he started, I'm still, very, cool with me hanging at cons, and my phone line's always open for him to get the question when I talk about Zuko. It's different than what we did. It's beautiful to see the world expand. That's how I see it. But I love what they did. It's great to see the cast, and really the band can come alive. And it was really cool.
It definitely beat that other movie we don't talk about.
There was no actually movie nights in the same. Yeah, I love the animation, and I think what I had conversations with some of the cast and actually some of the crew and the writers. I know the showrunner of the live action, and it's such an interesting because we talk about it on Radio, and it's like so much heavy stuff is going on in the show, and I think part of what helps that is the animation can kind of bring it back to a light place really easily. And I think when you move it over to live action, like I was talking to the writers about it, like you feel a feeling of pressure about keeping it really grounded and heavy because what's happening is heavy. So I think for them, they love the animated show so much. I mean, you could really tell they're honoring it and that they have that affection for it in the live action, but that feeling of like, how do we, like it's harder, I think, to kind of raise it back up to the lightness. And so it was really interesting to kind of hear about that. And so I think what you end up seeing is like, what does this version do really well that this version can't? Or what does this version do really well that maybe this version isn't meant to? But everybody on that show is so excited to get back to work on it. And like, people like tear up when they talk about getting to be a part of that version. And we're like, we understand that, we wouldn't take that joy away from anybody.
The timeline is weird. I was like, why is the Zoodles here already?
I love that you choose that.
Time really?
Is it already?
How are they here? What's going on? How are they here already?
Yeah.
All right, we got a question over here.
Aside from yourselves, what's your favorite character in the show?
Tough.
Love that talk too.
I like that. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, they're not here.
He loves Jet.
I love Jet, for sure. Jet's cool. Me, listen, there's all these like he's like Tupac and Elvis. People say they see it all around Boston City, Upper Island. They're like, yeah, but it's not top. He's around, but
I think
World Street is dead.
Emperor of the Player's Jet is probably alive and well. Since he seemed okay after he had to tuck his little leg underneath that boulder. Didn't quite land on him right the first time. Yeah, the creators did say that. I know. I trying. That's the downside of doing our podcast. Why am I starting
They're
to
like, he's dead. They're like, he's dead.
They're like, oh yeah, no, he's dead. We're like, oh man.
Like someone just saw him recently.
Yeah, we encourage a lot of Jet cosplays. We both love that one shoulder pad.
Yeah, I want a little barley.
Yeah, so yeah.
Not enough Jet cosplays out there.
Yeah.
What do you like?
Well, I mean, yeah, I love Tenzin, I love Asami, I love Bolin, I love our Ruby Mako, I love Naka. I mean, I'm a real
Sokka. I love Sokka.
Oh my god, please, I want to.
He doesn't love Sokka.
Everybody loves soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What about Katara? I don't know some Katara.
We had a whole conversation about how much I love Katara and how, like, just fierce and amazing and complicated and layered and beautiful where she is.
We love all characters. Who do you like? Zuko, obviously.
Yeah, best character art in anything. That's our boy Zuko.
Questions?
Got a question right here.
So you've all had very evolving characters in the shows. Was there a point early on, like when you realized that the script was heading in the direction, like Zuko eventually becoming buddy, and was there an early on point that you realized that, or
I did not even realize anything. I don't know what I was doing. I really just thought I was a villain. At the time I first got the character, me and David, we were both doing another show called Jake on the American Dragon. Jake. And so when I first got Zuko, I was like, oh great, I'll be the hero on the Disney Channel and I can be the villain on Nickelodeon. And so I just thought I was like this villain for a long time. It wasn't until like I found out how he got his scar, and I was like, oh, this is messed up. What like, what? His dad started? That's why he looks the way he looks? This is weird. What kind of show is this?
I think that someone walked into a Nickelodeon office and got this great idea for a kid's show. It starts with genocide. I think they would say, get out of my office right now. So we're actually lucky that it was at a time when the show could be made.
Absolutely. It was like, it's one of those real, when we have these conversations on the podcast with the people who were there at the time, including like a Nickelodeon executive who shepherded it through, it really is one of those shows you hear about where it's like, it had to be made at this particular time, with these particular people, this particular moment and place, and thank goodness. Because in my mind, like, Avatar always was going to exist, and it always will exist, but that's not quite the case. Yeah, I mean, I loved the first series, if that's not clear, and so I definitely was like, she's what now? Why is she being so bratty? What's happening? This isn't A. So I totally understand when people are like, I couldn't do it, I don't know. Because just reading that first script and being like, oh, for me to have this job means A is not alive anymore. Why didn't I put those two things together until just now? Like, I don't want to accept this at all. And you're just like, all the stuff rolls out so fast in the person. So it's like, blah, 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 Katara's old, Selkie's dead. You're like, turn this off. But I also love Zuko's journey so much. And I think there is sort of a parallel of like, no, I'm this, I have to be this, I was always told I was this is what's important, get out of my way, everybody. And then a similar sort of arc of like, wait a minute, hold on, like maybe I need to listen, maybe I need to connect with things that are deeper in my past and future, all that stuff. So it was evolving, for me.
Did you character?
Did you know you were gonna get so buff?
No, I don't mean to know what the president. The animators didn't use me as a model. To be honest now, I love the video, the script and seeing it.
Yeah.
I would love to cosplay Iroh. But I would have
Loincloth Iroh?
Yeah, but I have to get one of those prosthetic things that they make for superheroes, and I understand they're very hot and very heavy. Yeah. Thank you.
How amazing Iroh became. I remember going back at the beginning, it was just like he was kind of like a bumbling fool.
Yeah.
Kind of like Romeo and Juliet. She was like he was like the nurse of Juliet. We're like, all right, like he doesn't have that vibe.
Very good at acting. Yeah, very much. And he becomes. I think that's also the beauty of it, because he seems to be this kindly funny old man, and he is that, but he's also really badass, and he is not someone that you want to trifle with, And honestly, I think I think about why Iroh is so beloved, and honestly, he's universally beloved. I've never run across anybody that said, "Oh, Iroh sucks."
Who is that person? If you ever find that person, tell me.
I think the reason for it is the universality of it is Iroh reminds everybody of either the father that they were lucky enough to have or the father that they desperately wanted. And that's why I think it literally reaches across all divides, because everybody has a father, and fathers mostly are going to fit into one of those areas or the other. And I think that's the power of the character. And when I get home, when I come home from these things, it's like, I come home, hey, people were telling me how awesome I was. And my wife's like, yeah, it's your father figure. Clean out the dog poop house. And Dragon of the West, Dragon of the Poop. Dragon of the Poop. Hashtag Dragon of the Poop.
Yeah, that's the hashtag from this panel now. I'm really excited.
All right, right here.
If you had to choose, what did you like more, the live action or the cartoon one?
I mean, I'm an animation kiddo. That's just me. But like I said, I totally don't, question anybody who feels otherwise.
I love the anime. It will also be animation is a finished, complete thing, and so I can look at it as a very perfect thing. The live action is not there yet.
Still evolving.
It's still evolving. So we're different places.
Obviously, the animation.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the fact that the live action exists, and I love what they're doing with it. I especially love Zuko and Iroh. And I'm anxious to see where they go with it. And all I know is that once they get to the Ember Island Players, it's got to be us, guys.
Got a question over here on this side.
So everyone knows the soundtrack from the animated series is amazing. Do you have a favorite song and or like musical sting? For example, Fire Nation sting, Blue Spirit sting.
And by the way, if you get a chance to go see that Avatar concert, I saw that and I just sobbed the entire time. It's so worth it. And you don't even have, you can bring someone who doesn't know the show, because the whole way that they put it together and the way Jeremy's expanded those songs, you can go with somebody who's like, I don't really know the show, and they will also be crying and being like, this is my favorite show. You'd be like, listen, you shortcutted it. You haven't seen the whole series.
I was in New York, and we had tickets to Maryland, we rode along on a bunch of things, and I thought that was just something I would do with my son, because he was playing. It was by far the best thing I saw in New York. And I always knew intellectually how I loved the show was. But this was a 3,000 seat theater in Brooklyn, absolutely packed capacity. Once the orchestra started playing that theme, I could not stop talking. It was I understood here. I loved the show.
God, yes.
It was, yeah, seriously, it's life changing. If you get a chance, Avatar live in concert.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But they also, like, if memory serves, and I can't remember what they sandwich between, but like, once they start, like, they hit you with like something really emotional and then leaves from the vibe and it's something else that just shatters you. So there's a period in there where you're like, I can't breathe. Like, it's so emotional, right?
And then they ended all with a sing-along to Secret Tunnel. The audience sing-along to Secret
Oh my God,
Tunnel.
it's like on loop.
Yeah.
It's like how long we all wish the song was, because it just keeps going. You're like, yes. Oh, so good. Okay, so that didn't answer the question. But
So we have
at least for the line, I mean, the expanded version of that. I mean, you know, I just can't. I can't. But I love it so much.
In fact, I'll sing it for you now. No, I
Oh
won't.
my God, don't.
It's the one thing that goes. And I agree that, you know, and once it gets in your head, it's in the volume, it's just beautiful. And then the same with Secret Tunnel also. Once that song, that is an earworm song.
I mean, leads from the mindset I was thinking about, Fire Nation is really gets you going, you know?
Yeah, for some reason, like all the drums and
Oh,
the
yeah.
vocalization is so great. It's so exciting and wonderful.
I can't wait to see this. I haven't gone. I'm like, well, I'm listening to you guys, so I'm like, I haven't gone to the show yet.
Yeah, we'll go. We'll go.
You love it. It is
I would see it 80 more times.
something.
All right, right over here.
So not directly show related, but it was really exciting to see you guys on Active recently, and you guys back. So what was that experience like, getting to be on the couch for that?
I lost, but I'm still sore about it.
If I remember correctly, I didn't try to answer anything. I just gave you jack shit about the stuff that you didn't get right.
Yeah. Me and Jack were real competitive. Me and Jack were really trying.
And then I just sat in the middle of your sister.
It was Iffy's been on the show.
Yeah, we've been friends with Iffy for years, so it was so fun that, you know, we had him on the show and then we fit for him to invite us on his show. And no, it's super
And it was a newer show, so I didn't really understand how it worked at first. Remember? I was like, how does this work? What? Like,
Jack knew.
you have to,
Yeah, Jack knew.
you could get like makeup and hands for this, and I'm like, I was like, I don't understand what we're doing.
Yeah.
But then I think about it, I never got lost.
The hardest part was the end part where we were like dealing with those magnets and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's like one of those things like on anything, like anything you watch like Survivor or anything where you're like, I feel like I would have done that. And then you're up there and you're like, why don't my fingers work? Like, what's happening? No, it was a blast. When they released it, they were like, yeah, we definitely want, like, hope you guys will want to come back. And so they staged it as the finale for a reason. We were like, why? Because we were all mad at it? But we had fun.
Like, I love games. We should like Avatar be a game show, like Avatar in a few years.
That's a good idea. Actually,
Even if we just did it as like during a panel space, like
Great.
fun, we could do this to game show.
Me and Jack were super competitive for no reason.
So satisfying.
Got a question here.
Great questions, y'all.
Hey, so we're super big fans of the podcast, and last year we went to a con, and there was a panel of a group of people that were talking about whether or not they thought bending was genetic or if it was hereditary or passed down. So I was wondering what you guys thought. Do you think that?
That's a good question. Wow.
Good fan.
That's a good question. I'd love to ask. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
That's one of those things where like, why haven't we asked them that before?
Right. I mean, it can't be fully hereditary. I mean, it's hereditary.
Next season.
But it's kids like that, guitar, I have to get into soccer camp in.
Yeah, and then you have Flacco and Berlin. Yeah.
I like to think it's spiritual of some sort.
I like that.
An answer,
I mean, although our family is strong,
Well, yeah, clearly.
it's strong. I mean, just everybody starts a fire pit.
The fire pit is strong.
The brothers are fire pit by me and my sister, like Fire Nation, just the royal family.
Yeah. What was the sort of, was there like a takeaway that people agreed on?
Yeah.
I think it came down to Aang because he is from the Air Nation and the Air Nation is also very strong, so everybody in the Air Nation is better. So he would have been AA in like your pundit square, but then he had a non-bending child with Tara, so.
Because I love this fandom so much. Like, how we put up the illegals.
Did you say pundit square? What's going on here? Yeah.
That's true. Okay, we gotta do it. We gotta do an episode on this.
Yeah, that's it. Carry the
I'm
one.
literally gonna make a note on my phone about doing an episode.
So I think it gotta be somewhat hereditary, possibly.
Yeah, because as you said, the Fire Nation is sort of indicates that, but it's not always been.
No.
It's not always been.
There's the other one who's banned at the nowhere.
It's an interesting question.
It is interesting. Do you write that question down? We didn't find that out next season.
I just have a worksheet of notes about like episode ideas, but that's how we get them. Like so many of the things that we covered come from people who come up to my table or come up to Dante and me and they're like, hey, you guys should do it. We just had where someone said, why would yeah. Well, we know we want to do an all shipping episode. Someone was like, you don't get enough love to suit us. We're like, okay, we should just talk about all the great ships. Like we should do a whole episode like that.
If you see Michael Ryan, I have a question. I think we talked about it before. Mrs. Iro, I want to know what's not with Mrs. Iro. Why is she never mentioned? Did they have to?
Yeah, we
I
did.
don't know how to answer that.
Oh. And now I'm really intrigued. Now I'm very intrigued.
We did ask, didn't we?
Next question.
Okay.
Well, your next question is all the way over here to your left.
Please don't ask about this as a group.
There's just some quotes that when I heard it changed the way I thought and like the way I was as a person. Is there any quotes that like really changed the way you thought about certain things? And what is your favorite quote?
Also, what's one of yours that felt like it changed your perspective?
A lot of Iroh's, honestly, because I didn't have a father and I didn't have a grandfather figure, and he was kind of like that for me through the show.
Yeah.
Like when he was on Destiny is your friend, it's like not your enemy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That really hit me hard.
Yeah. Isn't it hope? Hope is something you give yourself.
That is one.
I
There's so
love
many.
that one.
In 200 years, Irohism is going to be religion. I'm really, you don't need to start religion. Yeah, I think, obviously, my favorite is, if you look for the light, but I think probably, and the one quote that is most, a good quote of the times in which we find ourselves is indeed, I forgot the quote. That's amazing. Now I remember, there's so many. In the darkest times, hope is something you give yourself. That is the meaning of inner strength.
I mean, I think for me that one is so huge, right? Because truly, it's like we forget that we can choose how to feel sometimes because life is so overwhelming and we feel like it's happening to us. And so I think that's one of the great things about a lot of Irohisms is that it puts us back in the driver's seat in a gentle way, not in the like, you have to do this way. It's like, what if I let myself hope? Because that's often the scariest thing to do as well.
It is.
So being given permission to like have that when you're afraid to have it, I think is such a gift.
Which is, I was just thinking about the light book and that, we both quotes, all that's on you. It's contingent upon you. Hope is something you give yourself, you have to look for the light. So you're an actual participant. It's not just, cheer up, everything's gonna be better. It's way more than that. And another one that I like is, sometimes life is like this dark tunnel. You can't always see the light at the end of the tunnel, but if you just keep moving, you will come to a better place. And again, there's that action in that. If you just keep moving, just keep moving.
Yeah. Boy, that's so true too, though.
They're also kind
And then, when we do the podcast, we'll have like Tim Hedrick, I think he's written a lot of the Iro lines, and we just look at him, we're like, yeah, Iro's always been around. Tim's like, I know. I don't think I really wrote them. I think Iro just channeled through me, and they're there.
So I like to be practical with it, because Iro's voice, such as, talk to me stickers.
I think you put in Iro's voice becomes great. How dare you?
I learned this very recently. It is usually advisable when drinking with your little brother not to get a tattoo. I'll be covering it up soon. My wife's insisting.
Got a question to go over this side.
Okay, so my question is, what's your favorite episode?
What's your favorite episode?
My favorite episode is Empire Player.
Oh, it's so
Good one.
good. Did some of you see my Avatar Stay Yip Yip t-shirt I had on yesterday? That's some inside baseball right here. I love it so much.
Favorite episodes?
Tales from Boston Salem.
Of course, classic.
That's how this is like pushing for more shit. So like how we get several episodes packed in one episode.
I mean, I do love like all the episodes where they put Aang and Zuko's story kind of they flip flop them, and you see that the hero and the supposed villain are actually living very similar
Like the
lives.
storm,
Like the
like
storm,
the spirits.
The spirit, and I love those episodes. It really reminds me that people in our lives that we think are the villain or whatnot, or may not necessarily be enemies to us. They just be not our allies at the moment.
I know, it's like you could have different categories of favorites, like what's your favorite funny episode or funny episode, what's your favorite most emotional, what's your favorite like plot development episode.
I need fight episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's so many good. And then for Korra, I mean, I love Korra alone just because that's where we find out like how much she's having to face the version of herself that she feels like she doesn't recognize, that feels outside of her. She's kind of struggling existentially because many of us have had that experience. If it's mental or physical or both, that feeling like if I can't do this thing, then who even am I think is something that a lot of us can relate to. And also we get it to Z-Top, which I think is really cool. But yeah,
I love the characters. Zuko alone, Korra alone.
Yeah.
I think Suki, there's a Suki alone situation.
Yeah, there is.
in
It's
the
Suki
book.
alone. Yeah, I think we got a Missoula alone book.
Do they?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
They do.
yeah. There's a real alone theme that's very cool.
Yeah, I think there is a thing with when you're in your processes in life. There's times to be amongst groups, and there's times to be you have to look it out on your own.
Absolutely. And then, but also to your point, how many times do we get a line like "You smell and I hate you" for all time?
I also really like the spirit world with
Yeah, yeah. Oh, so good.
I was talking to an artist at the commission because I wanted to do it. Is that in the spirit world, right? In the spirit world, all the spirit animals are gathered around the table with Iroh, but also with Iroh is Luke and old Zuko.
Oh,
Right? And the feels going on that,
yes. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay, now we're back here to your left to the back.
I got a question for Dante. Who do you think will win in a fight, Jake or Zuko?
I get that question. The thing is, Jake's a dragon. When he goes full American dragon, I mean, he flies and stuff.
I mean, this is an Avatar panel.
Yeah, I mean, Zuko did hold his own. But I would like to think they would be friends. They sound awful lot alike. They get along
in between Cora and Aang. I'm like, Cora would defer to Aang. Like, Aang is her.
Cora is and they're the same person.
I know, but like, we all, I get it. We all like to be like, who's more powerful or who would win? But maybe that's the thing where like Zuko would be like, I gotta defer to the dragon. The dragon was an original firebender.
There was a death match did a whole animated thing of Zuko fighting Todoroki from My Hero Academia. And I actually voiced it. Like he voiced it, like, yeah, I voiced it, and then I voiced it, and I lose. Which I get, because Todoroki comes from Zuko's story in a lot of ways, but also the OP him, because they're like, now he has like ice also. But, yeah, it's broken, super broken. So Zuko lost. I'm like, did you get, what do you call it, voice of winning? You got me voicing my character losing? But so I feel like the Amtrak, when it goes full on American Dragon, will have the upper hand. But, we'll see. Maybe he can get a Zulu to help out, and they can hit Jake with some lightning or something.
She would double cross him so
For sure.
You're trusting Missoula.
I don't want to trust him, it's just that concept.
People have asked me, Iroh versus Aku. And they want me to say Iroh, Aku is the literal god. Unless Iroh has the sword, nothing can defeat Aku. I do think because they were both supposed to play Mako, Iroh would cajole Aku. You have a very beautiful melodious voice, great Aku. I want to comment that it seems oddly familiar to me somehow. And Aku would, perhaps you're not so bad, you disgusting fool. Now let us be friends. I think that's how I
Oh,
would
it's a good lesson, because sometimes it's about like intellect and
Exactly.
manipulation. I'm backing off on it.
Got time for one more question?
Good morning, good to see all of you. These one of Vine's most memorable songs from the series. You ever happen to learn the inspiration for that particular song? I did some research and found a little bit interesting.
Say it in the history.
These one of Vine's most memorable songs for the show. You ever learned the inspiration for the song? I did some research and found it interesting.
Oh, really? Tell us, I don't know.
During World War II, mothers in Japan, where the father and their husbands and their brothers and all that go off to war, and the children be worried, will dad come back, or mom will come back, or grandpa come back. These are the brave soldier boy. This is where the comfort zone. Yes, we will be fine. This week we'll come back home.
You learned something new.
Amazing, thank you.
It's funny because I know we talked about it and didn't about to say, but maybe we didn't have. I know we had Katie with Zuko's, but I thought we had the writer. I thought we had.
Yeah, I don't know. I love it. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
to go in and retcon that, so I didn't have you in there. Drop
Well,
in that wisdom.
I used to second was to say so for Lieutenant's laws. And Riley, his son is not coming home, even though he's a brave, smart, he lost him still.
Yeah. Well, we just talked about that too at San Diego. We were talking about how we did a trivia and gave out prizes, and one of the questions was, at what moment in the war, in the siege on Ba Sing Se, does Iroh give up? And the answer is when Liu Ten is killed, which happens after they've penetrated the first wall, but not the second wall. So it's this really key turning point, and that's when Iroh's like, I'm out here, which is amazing.
I was talking to somebody about Zuko's redemption arc. Let's talk about Iroh's redemption arc. I mean, this fan set up the most profound thing. We were talking about how Iroh changes so much from, let's face it, the more criminal they sort of was. And I remember saying, I don't know if just the death of his son was enough to make him change so profoundly. And this fan said, and I understand, Zuko is Iroh's redemption arc. By molding Zuko into a better human, he molds him into a better Fire Lord, and so in his own way, he also contributes to saving the world, And I thought that was just a beautiful symbol. I wish I knew the fans' names so I could get credit for it. I thought it was lovely.
Lovely.
Yeah, I'm doing a favor. Give them a round of applause.